So this is Peter Amstell. He's a big shot. Not allowed to say the company name, but it's one you've all heard of. One most of you subscribe to. That's the hope, isn't it? That's the dream. So Peter's a big shot. He and I, in streaming, he and I are old friends from the good old days, and we're going to talk for your benefit. Most people don't get to see these. This is how powerful having important friends is. Yeah, a meeting of minds about things that I want to do. Welcome. I know we're in Peter's office, but it's a breakout room. But welcome, Peter, to the.
Thank you.
All right. So. Well, I mean, I've been working so hard to actually get to meet you again, you know, and get you on the phone. Felicity.
Well, yeah, so you seem to manage that. Well done.
Well, she's a tough nut to crack, that Felicity. I mean, really.
She's very good at her job.
If that's what her job is, I mean, surely she should be kind of just like picking stuff up and putting it down. I mean, that's kind of.
It's your place to say what Felicity's.
Well, you know, it's just kind of important that we know what roles are. I think it's very strange to me that we didn't exchange better details after the last thing. I know, you know, it's like 11 years ago. But, we didn't share numbers. I mean, how many times has your number changed in that time?
Well, actually, I've changed a couple of times.
Yeah. And did you move house?
I have done, yes.
Yeah. It's strange how people lose touch. I mean, I know I went away for a while, but definitely worth. I mean, it's great to get back together now, anyway, isn't it? I mean, that's the important thing.
Feels like no time at all has elapsed.
Well, this is it. I mean, for me, it was you know, kind of 10 years of really finding myself and thinking, wow, you know, we did those movies, and they were successful. I mean, you know, like monetarily. Bit of a disappointment that the Vietnamese thing happened. Did you have anything to do with that? Because I mean, really, it was.
Oh, I hold my hands up to none of that, Andrew. That was nothing to do with me. And
yeah,
you know, it's I sort of walked away from that quite a while ago, and
bloody distribution.
That was your sort of little baby, wasn't it?
Well, you know, it was wonderful. I mean, like five of the best years I think anybody could have, really. I mean,
so you're still going down that route, are you, doing those sorts of things?
No, because what I wanted to talk to you about, and this is very, very important, is I have a series to throw into your direction. So, I mean, we're mates, so it's not really a pitch, but this is like, I've got lots of ideas that are broadly, I mean, they're not even broad brush, but quite finely detailed.
I see.
And, you know, I thought, well, if we could maybe start 3 or 4 of them. I've got could be 13 now. And we just kind of start pushing them up the hill. Wouldn't be a problem to write all of that.
That sounds like quite a lot. I don't think that's something that we're looking to look into in our streaming service, actually.
Well, I mean,
that novel series, we're not there really, are we? Because we haven't got the following for that yet. So maybe come back in a few years once that's done. If you've got that published and we can get a bit of a following, then we can have another talk about that then maybe.
Well, I mean, you haven't heard any of the ideas yet.
Well, just you said that you've got about a series of 13.
Yeah, it's like 13.
So that sounds quite a lot. So I think come back when you've got a bit more in place there, and we've got a fan base perhaps.
Well, the way that I was thinking was we do it the old-fashioned way, where we grow the fan base by making a TV show.
Yeah, see, this is the thing, Andrew. The old-fashioned way, things have changed things move on pretty quickly these days, and doing it that sort of way, it just won't really work.
Well, maybe if you hear how, like, some of these ideas, right? These are really good. So we've got Dirty Rascal magazine, okay?
Right.
Dirty Rascal magazine. Now it's kind of a soap opera. But
are you aware of the streaming that we do?
Well, I mean,
the content that we have on our service.
There's loads, isn't there? I mean, there's absolutely loads of it.
Well,
so
we don't have anything sort of in that remit, so that's not really our kind of look.
But it's not sordid. It's about sordid subject matter. So it isn't actually sordid in itself. I mean, I can say horrible things, but then I wouldn't be doing them. It's a bit like that. You can talk about horrible things, but talking about horrible things isn't the same as doing them. So I mean, don't be put off by the title, because the title's just kind of like a fun thing.
It sounds very similar to what you were doing back sort of 20 years ago.
Well, I won't deny that on the surface it feels that way, but in reality it's a bit different. So it's not about girls fighting in the Alps or the desert or the jungle. It is about a magazine. Yeah, I don't want to say on camera what magazine it's like, right?
Okay.
And it's based on a man dies, he has no issue, and he leaves his multinational. It starts in 1970, and he leaves everything to his nieces and nephews, and they don't get on. And one of them's got like, we have a woman in charge, so you'll like that. I mean, people love that nowadays, women in charge of things. And you have a drunk husband, that's her drunk husband, and it starts in 1970. We shoot it in an 80s style, so it's like when, so if somebody's looking at the camera, they'll be saying stuff to people who are stood behind them, which never happens in real life. So that's the kind of stylistic thing.
That sounds interesting, but again, I don't think that's something that we're particularly looking to do. It seems quite an expansive timeline.
Well, period dramas are things that I particularly love. That one starts in 1970, but I'd love to see it, almost like Dallas or like Double Dallas. I mean, it could run until the 90s, and you just absolutely.
Shows like that, you see, they've had their time, haven't they? We don't really need to have another Dallas. And in terms of production, I think that would be quite a cost factor there that we need to consider as well.
Okay, well, we've got Death and Taxes. Okay, this is another series, and this is all about medieval political intrigue and wars.
Okay, so medieval, you're setting this at sort of 13, 1400s?
Probably a bit earlier, but we could kind of build up to the 13 or 1400s. It could be like pan-generational,
okay.
So maybe it starts I know, right? It starts about 1066, just after that's happened, and then you kind of build up to, Henry VIII.
Right, so that's
400,
quite a saga there, then, yeah.
Oh,
that
absolutely.
would be quite problematic budget-wise as well. I would consider the fact that you're going to have a lot of different castings, you're going to have a lot of different stuff made. You're going to have to look for sets. That just feels totally
castles
unbudgetable.
Exist.
Totally unbudgetable.
Castles exist, and outside of the really major battles, effectively you've just got a couple of horses, and a few guys with armour, and
I can tell you that's going to be a high budget, and for somebody that's not in the business already, that's not something that we're going to be able to do. The money isn't there for that.
So where's the money gone? Where's all the streaming money? All those subscribers? Where does it go? It just gets funneled into the bin? I mean, what happens?
Well, it goes where it needs to go. It goes channeled into the other shows.
Yeah.
Current shows that are selling.
But I mean, these ideas, and that's only two of them. I've got, I think, probably 13.
Yeah, you always were a very good ideas person, yes.
Exactly, and you need more of that, don't you? Because it's
ideas are one thing, it's being able to turn it into reality. That's the real trick.
It's getting a bit like predictable. It's like, that again, you know, like that. I think your problem is you've not had enough ideas.
You could also say successful shows that people are wanting and enjoy because, you know, the ratings are there.
Do they know any better?
Well, seeing as that's what they pay for, I would say that's what they're after.
But, you know, if something is brilliant, yeah, but nobody's seen brilliant before, right? So imagine like the best hotel you've been to, best hotel, like, I don't know, 5-star, maybe even like if it's got helipad, sometimes, you know, it gets 6, right? So you've been at one of those and you're like, that's a brilliant hotel. That's a brilliant hotel. And then somebody goes, well, have you been to this hotel? And you're like, oh my God. I mean, it's like unimaginable. People in the medieval times couldn't imagine a 5-star hotel today. They'd be like, what's a tap? You know, they'd be impressed.
From this
Electric lights.
Diversion of medieval.
No, but it's like it's like there's stages of brilliance. There's and if people only know this much, of course they're happy. You've got competitors, so if you raise the bar even higher with these ideas for series, then everyone else.
Well, so far, Andrew, the ideas that are there, as I say, you're a very good ideas man, but putting it into practice, that's the real trick.
Yeah.
So those two, we'll shelve those for now.
Okay. Well, we've got clicks. Yeah.
Okay.
And we've got one called obsolete, right? So obsolete is set in the near future. Okay. So all you need is like a robot and some lasers and things. It's like only like 10 or 15 years into the future, and it's about how humans are becoming obsolete. Yeah, you just do it on empty streets at night time, shoot everything at 3 a.m. and just it's on, and like, oh, we don't need people anymore, and the world is slowly being taken over by robots. They're not important anymore.
I think we've done quite enough of the post-apocalyptic type robotics.
You can never have enough
AI,
apocalypse.
So there's quite a lot of that.
You can never have enough apocalypse. Yeah, the end of the world is always on the lips.
You will only ever surely have one apocalypse, though, Andrew. You can't have more than one, surely.
I don't know. If not everybody dies, if you have one where like 90% of people die, then the remaining 10% could repopulate the Earth. You could do that. That's a series. So see how easy it is. You know, you go, oh, you have an apocalypse. First episode of, let's call it Apocalypse, not now because they've done that. Apocalypse, right, like close. Well, think about that. And it comes first episode. Like you meet people, they die.
Thinking about budget, showing an apocalyptic world. You're expecting us to
do it in a field with rags.
And you know, there's a certain look that we have in our service for our shows that we don't do things on a budget to make it look. We like to make it look a little bit more substantial, shall we say?
Well, you know, all of this stuff can be work in progress. I'm very dynamic, as you know. I've been very dynamic. In difficult situations, I flourish, yeah?
Yeah.
Just like flowers. And in those situations, I have proven time and time again adaptability.
And so what are you doing, what are you up to just nowadays?
We're doing the documentary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. What is that about?
Well, this is about the creation, the genesis of these ideas being turned into something, okay? So I get actors to come round and they act out, you know, various scenes that I've written for these individual series, and they're really excited about it. They go, oh wow, this is brilliant. I can't wait until these get made. I mean, I haven't promised them anything because, you know, we have to go through proper casting and all of that. But, you know, they're really excited. You know, so there's polling. There's people saying things. There's a potential fan base. If people that you just grab them off they are actors, but you grab them off the street, you say, act in this, they act it out, and they go, it's good. Good.
Right, people off the street. Okay.
Well, no, they are actors,
that's what
but
your,
they're just
your
kind
remit
of
is,
they're
is it?
kind of street level actors. They're not entertainers, but they are like they're just like they're just on.
Okay, we work on a slightly different scale with our production.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah, well, you kind of yet to convince me of something, one of your ideas, Andrew, and I have to say that given your history with your films, it's not something that we're necessarily looking to take.
My history, our history.
Well, it was really your thing, Andrew.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I almost produced it. I mean, I don't want to rain on the parade of anything that you did. You were vital. But I wrote the thing, even though the Vietnamese don't know it. Nothing to do with you, distribution. Eh? I wrote it. I directed it. I had a hand in everything that happened. And what was the upshot of that? I don't want to talk. I think it's vulgar. To talk about numbers. But if we did talk about numbers, I know what went in my bank account. 4 films, 5 years. I know what went in my bank account. And therefore I know what went in your bank account. So it's a difficult thing to dismiss. What are they paying you here? Is it more than that?
That's not up for discussion, Andrew.
Well, I can't change it. But I'm just saying, fabulous success. Monetarily.
Well, I've worked very hard to get there.
Yeah. So, it's undeniable that if I can convince somehow Southeast Asia to love my films, even though they redubbed them and changed all the meaning, still my picture, then I can convince the English-speaking world in a similar way with similar profit margins.
In a similar way that they will change your entire production.
Well, now...
It sounds like you didn't have very much control over that, Andrew.
Well, but this
so if
is...
you can't control that in a Vietnamese market, how are you going to control anything here? Because, quite frankly, your name is not going to open doors in this country.
Well, I think, when you show what I did, when you it made a lot of money, and it was...
That was a very long time ago.
It was fun.
It's not
fun stuff. It's exciting. I mean, people loved it.
They liked it in Vietnam, as you say, and enjoyed it for the content that they redubbed, not for your content. Not for what you created. So if you're trying to put that as your success, unfortunately, that doesn't really ring true.
The problem I'm hearing, and tell me if I'm wrong, is all of these series need to have a ready-made fan base before you'll consider them. But even if they did, there still wouldn't be much appetite to make it because of things I did in the past.
Effectively, yeah. You think you've got a pretty good grasp of the situation there, Andrew?
So, how, Peter, do I get out from under that?
Well, that's a very good question. I think...
And what's the answer?
Well, as I said, what are you working on currently?
Well, this is the YouTube, and and they're bloody rude idiots. But anyway, it could be a kind of pan social media thing.
Right. Okay.
And
you're doing a YouTube thing. That's great. Okay.
Yeah, but for this, to push this, there's no. I mean, there isn't. I'm not doing YouTube where I just bloody sit in front of a camera and go, hi, I used to be a film director and writer. They took away the writing on the films I made, but I still made loads of money. I'm trying to get other stuff made, but nobody wants to talk to me because they've forgotten how much money they made and how brilliant the time it was and they don't like me anymore. So I've got a YouTube
So
channel
you
where
haven't
I
really
just kind
been
of
doing anything effectively for the last 10, 15 years.
Well, I mean, I just
you know,
kind of
you've got to
found
move on.
myself.
This is an industry that moves on very quickly.
Yeah.
So you know that sounds like something you could be working on your YouTube channel. That sounds great. You could, you know,
But how do
keep
I
up with that and build up your fan base
But
there.
what do I? Where's the end goal? I mean,
Well, that's up to you, isn't it? That's your own choice about how big you want to get, how many followers you want to get on YouTube. See where you can go from that.
do you make things about YouTube people?
No.
Right.
Was there anything else?
Well, if I get a massive fan base for all my ideas and change my name.
Let's just keep on working, do your YouTube thing, see how you can build up your fan base and go from there. That's a good start, I would say. Seems like a plan to me, and you know, it's a good one there that you can focus on that, focus your attention on that. I'm afraid I really am rather busy today, if there's nothing else.
Doesn't sound like it.
Well, thanks for coming in.
I got to put all this away now. If you like the video, click like, and if you want to subscribe to the channel, you can if you want, and click the bell. Bye.